This shiny Pokemon in Pokemon Go has been
My fault. I got you a water. Make sure to like and subscribe.
This Pokemon shiny has been evading me for 5 years now. Since I started playing the game, I've been wanting to get one specific Pokemon shiny in raids, and every single time, every year that this Pokemon has came back into raids, I've been doing them. I've been trying my best with the little scraps that I have to use for raid passes. I've been using them to try and get this shiny Pokemon, and today was the day I was finally able to catch this shiny. So now let me start with what I had to do in order to get it. So let's start with the first thing. Obviously, it is doing raids. This Pokemon has been out since 2019, and I've been playing since 2019, and greatly enough, when remote raid passes were brought to the game in around 2020 because of lockdown, this was perfect for me because my best friend V Prospect plays Pokemon Go all the time, and especially around that time he was playing a lot as he does now, and he was able to send me a bunch of raid invites for this specific Pokemon, and I loved it. So I used what I could, and this was at the time when remote raid passes were not the $195 price that they are now. It was back in the day when they were only 100 Pokecoins, which sounds crazy enough that they doubled the price. And back then, I should have felt more grateful for them because I didn't realize how good the opportunity was. It's one of those things where you only miss it once it's gone. However, when I first saw this in raids, I knew immediately I wanted this shiny, and I knew I had a bunch of Pokemon that were good counters for it, and this was at the time when I was only about level 30 in Pokemon Go. So when I did this 5-star raid, I knew it was going to be very difficult to do because my friends were also around level 30s like I was, so 3 people at level 30 trying to do a 5-star raid with a legendary Pokemon with over 40,000 CP was very difficult to do, and that was one of the struggles that I ran into trying to get this shiny, because sometimes I would have the remote raid passes, but the main problem that I'd run into back then was I wasn't strong enough with my Pokemon. I didn't have enough power CP, and I didn't have enough levels to make my CPs higher, so I had to miss out on a bunch of different raids. Additionally, around the last couple of years of these Pokemon coming back into raids, I moved around a lot. I moved around a total of about 3 times, maybe 4, because I lived in New York, then I moved to Pennsylvania for a year, then I moved back to New York, and then I moved back to Arizona. So it was a lot of back and forth to many different places, and one of the big things for me was trying to get this raid, and sometimes it was inconveniently when it came back into the game. Because like I said, this Pokemon did come back into raids about once to twice a year, and obviously I tried to take advantage as best as possible, but life came up and it was very difficult to catch this Pokemon. And you guys might think, you guys might even have in your head one Pokemon that you might be hunting for that you've been trying for years, and whatever Pokemon is in your head, imagine that is the Pokemon for me. The look of this shiny that I always saw many other YouTubers, Mystic7 and many other Pokemon Go YouTubers would catch constantly, I was having that big struggle. And if you guys do not know, I have a really bad luck when it comes to raid shinies. Now, I've caught a couple in my time. However, for example, when I played GoFest, I did about 80 plus raids for only one singular shiny, which is crazy. And I would even say it was almost 90 to 100 raids to only get one singular shiny, which I believe is kind of crazy, but is what it is. Now, Tynamo was just released in Pokemon Go. New Pokemon, absolutely awesome. Of course, if you guys don't know about that Pokemon, quickly to explain to you, there's a 1% chance of when you evolve it, it will have a 3 Pokemon instead of a 4 Pokemon evolution. The Pokemon is a couple, so the first spawn is a 2 Pokemon, and then the evolution is a 4 spawn, or if you get that 1% chance, you get a 3 spawn. So it is absolutely crazy. However, with this event, with not only this new Pokemon coming out, shiny boosted Pokemon that are spawning, best of all, one of the best raid Pokemon that are coming back that I've been looking for years is Articuno. Articuno came back into raids. Now, a raid's going on right now of me doing Articuno. This time, it is not going to be like 2019 to 2021 because remote raids are 195 Pokecoins, which is a 95 Pokecoin difference. And in comparison, let me tell you this. Raid chances is 1 in 20 for a shiny, which means that is thousands of Pokecoins. And obviously, if you heard my luck, I did over 80 plus legendary raids in GoFest and got one singular shiny. So the odds were pretty against me in the fact that I've done raids of Articuno in the past and still haven't got it shiny. So I still had to have a bit of faith. I still had a bit of hope that I was still able to get this shiny since it was going to be back for this event, this 6-day new release Pokemon, but also Articuno in legendary raids. So I made sure to use the best rock type attackers that I had powered up. Since I'm level 43, I'm able to power them up to over 4,000 CP. I have V Prospect with me who's still playing Pokemon Go and grinding, and he has a bunch of his best Pokemon, and we were able to take out a bunch of Articuno raids, especially during the Tiny Community Day that just happened. So after we completed at least 1 or 2 of them, I was able to get into this raid. Now, this raid is really special in specific. Last remote raid pass that I had. Now, I had a feeling. You know, there's times where you're playing the game and you kind of have a feeling that you're gonna maybe get a shiny, or you have a thought in your head of the color of the shiny, and then there's times where that happens, where you actually get the shiny. You're like, oh, I was just thinking that. While I was doing this raid, I was thinking in my head of the light blue of this Articuno, and I was thinking, this could be the raid. I'm thinking this could be the raid. And sadly enough, I want to show this. Actually, I don't know how I'm going to show it. 2 minutes before I do the raid, I cracked my new phone. So it was super unfortunate, but I made sure not to. It is what it is. It was just a screen protector. I knew it wasn't that big of a deal. I could buy a new screen protector, but it literally happened as I was doing the Articuno raid. I couldn't believe it. I looked at my phone, I'm like, wow, that is tough. However, I still had the thought in my head, I'm like, if I got a shiny Articuno right now, this would really make up for it. And if you want to know how I was able to get into this Articuno raid, not sponsored, I used All Raid Party, I believe it's called, or Go Raid Party. It's an app where basically you can log on, you can join a group, and you can join it, send your friend code. The person that is hosting the add you back and send you a raid invite. My final raid pass. But to also put it in perspective to you guys of my final one, this was my final remote raid of the day. Now, instead of back in 2020, when you could do as many remote raids as you wanted, you could only do 5 remote raids a day, which I hope eventually they raise it to 10, maybe even 15. Officially say I got the shiny Articuno from the raid. It was a really decent CP. It was my greatest shock to me ever that I was able to get this shiny Articuno, and I absolutely loved it. And of course, it was on the raid that I pretty much mattered. It was the one that counted the most, and the one that counted the most, it came through, and I absolutely love it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this story of how long it took me to get a shiny Articuno. 5 years in the making of this video. God bless. I love y'all. YouTube says that's a great video for you. Highly recommend checking it out. I will see y'all there. Have a great day. Peace out.